Hey everyone, it's Sally Estlin again here on Magic Mike Moments. And today I'm very excited to be sitting down and having a chat with Irina Shehovsov, who is founder of Reclaim Your Life and is also a 4 times international best-selling author. So welcome, Irina. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. Thank you, Sally. How-
Before we get into it, I'll just introduce you with a few words about who you are and what you do. So you believe just like an electric plant generates electricity, you can generate happiness from within, which is a daily practice. You're a certified NLP trainer, a time life therapy and hypnotherapy master coach. You're certified wellness and 10 times fitness coach. By taking a holistic 360-degree approach, you focus on restoring your clients' physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual states of being. Happiness Academy is your mentorship program that's helped women remember who they are after a toxic relationship. Irina supports single parents in becoming better versions of themselves by sharing powerful stories on your podcast, Single Parent Success Stories, and you offer inspirational and empowerment on your second podcast, Reclaim Your Life with Irina. So without further ado, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So you're a busy lady with a lot of feathers in your bow, if you like. So, wow. So, talk to me about all of this, about what you do, who you are, and talking about generating happiness from within, because that's something I'm very passionate about myself.
Yeah. So happiness from within, because for many years I was seeking happiness outside of myself, but then I discovered it is all up to me to find it within. And for me, happiness practice is simple. In fact, I wrote about it in Total Health book, practicing 10 minutes of joy every day, doing something that sets your soul on fire, whether it's rock climbing, singing, jumping, dancing, or whatever suits your soul. I personally like to sing. And I discovered this trait about myself recently, after my kind of second life. I went through breakup, separation, and divorce, and that kind of ignited me to start my other journey of I had a sense of loss of identity.
Yeah.
I saw someone else's wife, someone else's mom, but who
Yeah.
am I? I didn't know. So I embarked on this journey of personal development, and I discovered many little gifts along the way that I didn't know I had, and one of them was singing. I thought at first, what am I doing? I'm so old already. It's for little kids, but then I discovered, no, it's not.
I love
As
it.
long
I love it. Do you
as
do,
desire.
do you do singing in the shower, or where do you do your singing?
No, there is an app on the phone, and I did take kind of voice lessons before, but now I just sing. There is an app on the phone called Smule, and you can sing internationally with people from all over the world in different languages. You can do prose, you can do acting, you can do singing, you can do poetry, you can upload your own music and sing. So it's a platform for people to just express themselves and sing and practice.
Yeah. What's the app called? Small.
Smule. Smule.
That sounds incredible. Fantastic. So you're bringing together like-minded people and singing along. That's so cool. And when did you discover that this was bringing you joy, that was putting your soul on fire?
I started, I think, in 2015.
Oh,
And when did I discover it sets my soul on fire? Because I stuck with it. Like, you know how sometimes we get so excited about some new routine, a new idea, and we like get so infatuated with it.
yeah.
And then it falls off, maybe, I don't know, months later. Well, it stuck. It never went anywhere. It still brings me joy. It still kind of makes me feel alive. So I've been doing it for the last 6 years, 7 years.
That's fantastic. That's a point of difference I didn't know about you. That's incredible. So like part of this Magic Mike is talking about your journey and some of the challenges that you've come across in your journey and how you've overcome them. So was one of the major turning points in your life when your marriage fell apart, and so was that a long time ago, and what have been some of the challenges since and how you've overcome them?
Yeah, so this was about 9.5 years ago.
Right.
When my second son was born.
Yeah.
About 3 months in, my spouse decided to walk away. And I was on, I call it, for about a year. So it's from 2015, middle of 2015 to 2016. I was in this desperate state of being. Mostly because I call it, you know how we said we have this picture in our head of what our life's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
And when that picture doesn't match to reality, we find ourselves lost in the sense of uncertainty without what is the right step to take. And I also felt like an outlier because everybody around me were married and happy, at least on the outside. And I was this only person who is the single person. How am I going to live? What am I going to do? How am I going to fill the shoes of two parents now? And how, like, I don't consider myself this great parent. I'm still learning. I'm still...
Yeah, it's a work in progress, for sure.
I feel we're always on this journey of learning about ourselves and the world in general. So this is where I found myself being in that state of despair and waiting for somebody, feeling like a victim. Why is this life happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Waiting for somebody to come rescue me from my misery.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how, and I used to escape my home and like go on trips. I didn't want to be inside. Little did I realize, no matter how far I ran, I still took myself with me, with my ideas, with my thoughts.
Yeah.
And so it was important. I came to a point in life that I could no longer live the way I used to live. I wanted to have more energy. I wanted to be happy. Because if I am miserable and everybody around me is miserable. And that realization came one time. I was rushing to go to work, and I missed my train by a second. It left, and I started sobbing and crying and asking myself, what is this life all about? Why are we always rushing? I felt like I was rushing without feeling like I have lived. Am I rushing to my death? Like, what is the point of all this?
Yeah.
And it's not like it didn't happen just overnight. It's continuous morning, daily rush. You know, you have kids.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're like by literally a minute apart, they have to run and do things. And just one day I got fed up with all that.
Well, fair enough, because life is busy, and that being on that roller, that hamster wheel of busyness, and you just get worn out, you get exhausted, become overwhelmed, and then you become resentful. So, you know, it was a turning point when the train went, you know, missing it by a minute, and you're starting to cry up, tear up, and whatever. And then, you know, that was your sort of moment of reckoning of like, what am I doing? Why am I so busy? Why am I rushing around? Like, you know, that's, I mean, it's an awful place to get to, but it's often when we hit these rock bottom moments that it's life-changing, because we just don't want to keep living like this. Where is the joy? Where is the happiness that you talk about? So, you know, so since then you started to stop being busy, you started to bring in different practices where you could let stuff go, I suppose, and find more meaning in life. What was one of the biggest things that you let go of?
Biggest is resentment and practices of forgiveness, no matter how dire the circumstance. It's actually a trifecta: forgiveness, gratitude, and meditation. Meditation is the inner shower of the mind. Gratitude is no matter how difficult or how dire the circumstances, there are always things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And forgiveness, a daily practice. When you have a grudge with somebody, you had a conversation with somebody, and without taking it to the next day, starting your day with a clean slate.
Yeah.
Of course, it's difficult to forgive right in the midst of things, when things are falling apart and all you're looking for is somebody to blame, not realizing that it is the decisions and thoughts that you made along the way that resulted you in you living the way you're living.
Yeah.
But because you're so miserable and pissed off, you're just looking somehow kind of outlet. But looking back, when we look at our life, if we evaluate it as if it was a narrative, as if it was a journey, and what did we learn? What kind of lessons did we pick up along the way, so that next time we can make a better decision? So forgiveness, I think, is the biggest thing, is being able to forgive and move on.
Yeah.
Because we always operate to the best of our abilities with the resources we have available.
Yeah.
The people who we meet, the relationship, and the person that who we were back then allowed to live like that. And now we can kind of turn around and see something different.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, without forgiveness, often the person who's getting hurt the most is ourselves, because it's forgiving other people. Often the other people aren't realizing the extent of the pain that we're taking on. And so when we can step into forgiveness, it doesn't mean that we forget, but when we forgive, we can cut that cord that's keeping us attached to that negativity, to that heavy energy, and moving on. And I love what you say about gratitude, because gratitude and positivity, it just shifts the energy to be so much lighter. And what was the line you said? Meditation is the inner shower of your mind. I love that. I love that. I love that. I'm going to highlight the inner shower of your mind. But it's so true, because meditation is just turning off from all that busyness, the craziness, that head talk that can really do us in. And I love that inner shower of the mind. So when you're working with your clients and with people, why are people drawn to you? What do you think is your superpower? What is the essence of you that people just resonate with?
I think it's holding space and being able to just be with people, as opposed to make assumptions or expectations. And I always, whenever I meet with somebody, my prerogative is that when we meet, you get some value from our meeting. So we always leave better off than when we have met. So by sharing what I have available and looking at every person specifically, not with a set of techniques that I'm going to apply, but understanding first where they're coming from and what kind of support they're looking for, whether if it's mental health or physical health or some kind of emotional issue that is happening that needs to be addressed. So treating each person uniquely and understanding where they're coming from.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I love that, understanding where they're coming from. So what do you think is the biggest issue facing your clients?
Facing who?
Your clients, the people you work with. So what is probably their number one biggest issue?
The biggest issue, I think, is feeling stuck and only seeing that there is only one way to solve a problem.
Yeah.
There is always more than one way. But if
that's great.
all centered around the beliefs and values that we have in our life and how we grew up, and sometimes we only see one solution to a problem, not realizing there is a multitude of others because of how we were living and where we were brought up.
Being stuck is such a big issue for so many people. They're stuck in fear. They don't know how to progress or how to get out of it. It's like you're stuck in the mud, you're stuck in quicksand. And it's a horrible feeling when you just can't move forward, and you just sort of it's like deer in the headlights. You're paralyzed and you just, whoa, how do I get out of this? Because it's not a nice feeling. So yeah, what would be 3 top tips that you could share with people about how to become unstuck?
So first of all, treating the negative chatter.
Yes, love that.
And there are many tools and techniques that people use. I personally share what kind of resonated with me. One time I was reading Daniel Amen book, or maybe it was on the Mind Valley podcast that I heard it. But Daniel Amen, I don't know if you know, but he's a psychotherapist who analyzed the pictures of the brain of over, I think, 800 patients. And the fascinating study was done that the only part, I call it, that is being treated, and we never kind of study the organ that kind of creates the problem. Yeah. Like if you go to a heart surgeon, they would take a cardiogram of your heart, or if you break a bone, they would do that. But so he did that. But what happened one time, he came home and his house was infested with ants, and he proceeded to stomp those ants. And then he got an idea that those negative thoughts, automatic negative thoughts, ants, this is what happens when they invade our mind, and we get into this loop of constantly repeating the same kind of thought that's not serving us. So what did he do? Stamp out those negative thoughts physically with your feet. Just stamp them out. Of course, if you're in public, it might look weird, but if you're at home, nobody's watching, by no means do that. Another technique is having a rubber band on your hand and pinching yourself. But of course, it takes first accepting and being able to keep track of your thoughts, because sometimes we get on that wagon and just running like
autopilot.
a background of your mind.
Yeah.
It's being able to first recognize that this thought is not serving. Another a great one, this is from Marisa Peer, tell yourself better lies, because we constantly tell ourselves lies. What if we tell a lie that is serving us? That's a great lie.
Yeah.
Because especially when we say, like, I never can do this particular thing, or I can never kind of create something.
Yeah.
But is it always? Is it all the time, or is it in this specific circumstance? And always asking ourselves the question, like, does this thought serving me?
Yeah.
And in the long term, what happens if I keep thinking that thought? What will happen to me in a couple of years?
Yeah.
Kind of unwrapping like that. And there are many other techniques tackled in NLP and timeline therapy that allows you to kind of zoom in onto your mind and see, because a lot of times those negative thoughts, they come from the trauma, from the way we were brought up and what happened. So before, when we were little, we have those aggregated beliefs from 0 to 7, and then we turn them into reality. We practice them between 7 to 14, and then what happens when we have an experience that was negative, then we bring our own experience into it. So we have this mix of early to middle to when we are adults, and then we could be living with these things and not even realizing. We could be doing all the great perfect things on the surface, on the outside level, but let's say we cannot get a promotion at work, or we always get into same kind of relationship. So the patterns, they are continuing because we have the snowball of negative stuff that is kind of hanging over us that we don't realize because it's not on the surface. If we look at an iceberg, we only see a tip above the water, and this is our conscious mind. And our subconscious mind is beyond that water level, and this is actually what rules our life. Unfortunately, we cannot influence it directly. We got to be in a certain brainwave frequency to be able to access that and reprogram that. Just like we have a computer that's running programs, and or you have a phone. How often do you get an update? Probably every month, every 2 months. Twice a month. But when was the last time you upgraded the software that's running your mind, it's running your life?
It's so true. I was literally talking to someone this morning about the iceberg effect and how our conscious mind is just that tip of the iceberg. It's the 10% that we're really aware of. 90% is lying under the water. And you're so spot on about how, early childhood, we're so influenced with where beliefs are embedded from childhood through. We've carried them through with us. And we can't change what we don't know. So we need to sort of stop and realize that we're repeating on autopilot these negative type beliefs and creating habits from those stemmed negative beliefs and stopping and changing them. And I really like how your second tip was just tell yourself better lies. It's like
third thing to practice, I kind of get off of the subject, but third thing is to practice gratitude.
Yes.
I think when you start focusing your attention on things that are working in your life, you suddenly would realize that there are more things working than that are not working. And the simple thing you can do, how to implement it in your day-to-day life, in the morning when you wake up, say 3 things you're grateful for. And it doesn't have to be great. The fact that you woke up and standing on your feet is already amazing, because every day is a gift. And every night when you go to bed, say 3 things that went well today. Not the things you forgot to do, the quarrels you had, but what were the 3 great things that happened? Maybe it was a smile. Maybe you had a great meal. Maybe you experienced something beautiful. It's like when we tell our children bedtime stories. What if we tell ourselves this bedtime story, creating this positive image? And little by little, doesn't happen overnight. But if you implement those practices in your day-to-day living, your outlook on life will improve, because suddenly you're introducing new good habits for your well-being, as opposed to running on autopilot. Because as Joe Dispenza said, we are 95% of the thoughts that we think about are the same exact thoughts, and we are creatures of habit. And so in order to change, I think the most difficult part is changing ourselves, but to make uncomfortable comfortable by taking micro moments, micro steps. Not everything fun, but just pick one thing and see if that works and stick with that.
Absolutely. We are so aligned. Everything you're talking about is what I talk about too. It's about just starting with simple, small steps. You know, Dr. Joe Dispenza, I've been to his advanced retreats, and I think the thing is 80 to 90,000 thoughts we have every single day. And 80 to 90% of those thoughts we have today were the same ones as yesterday. So you've got to break out of this habit of being yourself, right? Which is one of his books, of thinking in different ways. And it's just having that recognition that you have those thoughts and then changing them. You know, it's 21 to 28 days to create new habits. So it's just chipping away at it, because as you said, gratitude is one of the highest forms of positive energy, ways to shift your energy and put things back into perspective. And I like how you have your little morning ritual and your evening ritual. I have a morning ritual every morning before I get out of bed, before I look at my phone, before I do anything, is tap in and say, 3 things I'm grateful for and why, because that amplifies it. I'm grateful for, you know, the rain today because it means that, you know, the garden's getting fed, you know, it's being watered. You know, there's everything out of perceived negatives, because it's summertime down here and people want to go to the beach and it's school holidays. And today it's been pissing down with rain, which means, you know, it's not an outside play day. Like, it was so wet. But, you know, I've got the gratitude. I don't have to go out and water the garden because it's been watered. Yesterday was a really hot day. So, you know, we can always take a perceived negative and shift it around into a positive. Absolutely. Absolutely. So is that your number 3 thing? The tip to get unstuck is to, like, practice gratitude?
Yes.
Yeah, I just love it. So, like, a recap here, you know, meeting the negative head chatter, you know, the things that we keep saying. These are 3 tips to get unstuck. The second one is tell yourself better lies. You know, just look at what it's doing to you now. Is it really serving you? And what it's going to do to you down the track? What's going to be the flow-on effect? And then the third one is, you know, practicing the gratitude, because it's just, it does shift and lift things. And I love your saying at nighttime, creating better bedtime stories, you know, because it's just what energy are we putting into our system at night time? You know, oh, damn, I should have done this. I didn't get through that, and putting yourself down. What energy are you taking to bed and sleeping with, right? You want to create some really happy dreams. and I love that, giving yourself a beautiful bedtime story of, like, pat on the back. Well done. You've had a good day. You know, you're so grateful because you got this done or that done, or this person was in my life, or I had this beautiful meal, or the kids gave me a hug, or whatever it is. It's often it's the little things that we can, if we can stop with, you know, all our huge expectations and just stop and smell the roses and just look around us and go, you know what, I'm so grateful that tonight I've got a warm, cozy bed to sleep in, got a roof over my head. You know, there might be seemingly negative things happening around me, but at the end of the day, I'm so grateful because I'm here and I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, and I'm alive. You know, it's just the really simple things can really shift us back into that perspective of seeing things in a positive light, because we're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time. So, like, let's enjoy the little moments, right? 100%. So I have this mantra, let go, step up, and be more, which is, we've been speaking a little bit about that. It's about what have you let go of, how have you stepped up, and how have you become more of yourself. So over your journeys and all your things, what do you think have been the key things that you've let go of?
Regret.
Regret. Oh, I love it. Right.
You know how they say sometimes and I am still like a perfectionist, but I think it's best to I call it done is better than perfect, as they say, and living life without regret, doing the things that bring you joy, that bring you happiness. Doesn't matter what anyone says, because maybe they're on different frequency, or they can't see the world the way you see the world. And it's not to say they're wrong or you're wrong. It's just they're different people and you're a different person. And hopefully by you doing the thing that you love, you could inspire others to do the thing that they love.
Yeah. And a lot of it is about inspiring other people, you know, because our journey has shaped who we are and how we work with other people. And often what we've been through when it's the hardest challenges is where we find our gold in helping other people. So either they don't have to experience that, or if they are experiencing it, we can support them in coming through the other side. Because life isn't, it is a challenge, right? And every day, the silver lining out of every experience, but it's not easy. And if there's other people around that can inspire and motivate and support you going through this, that's what we're all about, hey? So yeah, I love that, letting go of the regret and stepping up and being more of you. What have you done in your life to show that or live it?
I feel like I've been sleepwalking until for the big part of my life. And
Yeah.
the things I did in the last 3 years are more than I did in the last 30 years.
Yeah, I get it.
Like the fact that I'm talking with you, you're from Australia. I'm an introvert. I have 2 podcasts. I'm launching book number 5 tomorrow.
Wow.
2 days from now. And that all happened, and I did a lot of learning and studying, and the podcast, 2 podcasts. One podcast is gonna be 4 years old. Second one is a baby, 6 months old.
Wow.
And writing, pursuing my dreams. Why do I sing? I have a dream of singing on stage in front of thousands of people. So doing that by practicing 10 minutes every day of singing. Uh, and I have many dreams like that, and I believe in following dreams. In fact, I claim your life. It's all about live, dream, and grow.
Yeah.
And live part is about establishing our health, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And once you have that foundation done, then you can open yourself up. What do you want to create with your life? Because life is short. I know we think we have this a lot of time. But if you look on a tombstone, you have 2 dates and there is a dash, and that dash is your life. And you came here to have a human experience,
Yeah.
not to be like other people want you to be, but discover your own gem and share it with the world.
It's so true. And what I love is that you're just bringing things down to reality, right? Looking on a tombstone, and there are literally 2 dates. And we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. So enjoy that. But here you are, you're living, you're being an authentic person, just living what you've gone through to step up, right? So you said that you're an introvert, but yet you've got 2 podcasts, and one's been going for 4 years, and nearly 6 months. That's amazing. But 4 books and now another book. So let's talk about that book that's coming out tomorrow.
Sure. So this is Soul Parent book volume number 2, and
Mhm.
it is inspirational wisdom and guidance to navigate life as a single parent. It is not to promote single parenting, but if you found yourself in those shoes,
Yeah.
what do you do? I'm bringing people who were my podcast guests, who were on the podcast. They are sharing their stories, so it's a multi-author book.
Mhm.
People from all walks of life sharing their life. Hopefully, a page in that book would be a page in someone else's survival guide, because there are different points being made and how people address their challenges, how they move through the difficult part, and what do they come out on the other side to bring back hope, to help single parents who are just brand new single parents thrive and see the light in the end of the tunnel.
I love that, because we've both been there, and it's not easy. It's not hard. It takes courage, and it can be very lonely and isolating. So having a book like this where you can hear of other people's stories, that even if there's just one little takeaway that's inspired or helped someone get through that process, because it is a process. And unfortunately, emotions are involved, because it's not just like a business transaction. It's more than that. It's, yes, of course, you've got the financial transaction, which is a killer. Well, let's not use that word, but it's difficult. But it's the emotions that get involved. It is an emotional roller coaster. And when emotions are involved, it's exhausting. It's debilitating. It's, it can sink you and can keep you stuck. So having supports, you need a big toolbox when you're going through separation or divorce. And a book like this would be so helpful, supportive, and just go, because it's real. It would be real people with real experiences. You never know. It's like when you have a baby and people, it's almost like they don't tell you what it's like on the other side. You get all this big, oh, it's so exciting, you're pregnant, hooray, hurrah, and here's the presents and the flowers. But hang on, the reality is very different. It's like, Ooh, and it's the same thing when people are separating or divorcing. Oh man, you just don't want to ruin the vibe by saying, oh shit, strap yourself in, because show me a good divorce. They don't happen very often, right? Because especially when emotions are involved and your life does change. It's just how it is. So congratulations on this. Did you say the second book of soul soul
We
parenting?
did one last year in December 9, 2022. We had the first volume, and now we're doing volume number 2.
Oh, that's fantastic. So we'll definitely, is this all available through your website? Is this the best place to go and find all the information?
Yes, and the book will be available on Amazon internationally, so in Australia, Canada, USA, New Zealand, all
That's
those places.
fantastic. Well done you little legend. So what drives you? What are you most passionate about? What gets you up out of bed every day? What sort of ignites that fire within you, keeps you going every day?
Creating something I never did before.
I love that. You, for someone who's an introvert, you definitely get out of your comfort zone, that's for sure. Oh man, I mean, the singing thing, that's blown me away. That's amazing. I've only met you recently and you're an awesome person, but all these little things I would never have thought. Like that's amazing. So at the end of the day, what legacy would you like to leave the world?
I have this dream of creating Reclaim Your Life centers all across the world where people who lost hope in life can come and rejuvenate themselves by working with different alternative medicine practitioners. So whether they need to lose weight, they need to restore hope, or deal with their emotions, having that kind of incorporating the live, dream, grow principle, fixing or helping with the physical, emotional, spiritual health. And then once that is done, also having on site different kind of passions, whether it's karaoke or cooking, like a coffee shop, an art studio, where people can create and showcase their work and maybe discover something in their soul that was dormant. And then the whole idea is so that they can restore hope, and when they leave their center, they can go follow their dream, no matter how silly it is, because we all have this 5-year-old inside of us that gotta come out and play. And let's not make the cemetery the richest place on earth. What if we all follow our dreams and create what we came here to create?
Absolutely. You're covering me in goosebumps. It's just so beautiful. And I was only having a recording just before this with talking about these sort of places. And that was one of my dreams too, is that everyone in the world has the opportunity to go to a place which covers all their needs, from physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, dimensional, whatever it is. But what I really like also is sparking the passion within, following their dreams within and following lifestyle passions. So it might be following down the line of singing again, or painting, or doing something creative, because that makes your soul sing. And it's about making your soul sing, which is what life's about. And, that aligns your purpose, passion. And we don't want to do stuff that crushes our soul, but make it sing, because as we just said earlier, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. So let's create a happy life, because it's about being happy, healthy, and wealthy on all levels. Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of the day, Irina, where's the easiest place to get you? It's your website, which is where? Let me have a look on. Yeah.
IrinaShehovsov.com.
Oh,
Just
cool.
my first name, my last name together. I'm also on Instagram under Claim Your Life. Facebook, Irina Shehovsov. YouTube is Happiness Academy.
Happiness Academy. Is that the best place to find your podcast as well, under YouTube, Happiness Academy?
Podcasts video versions are available on YouTube, both of them, and audio version is available where you listen to your podcast, so Apple, Spotify, Breaker, Google, and so on.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, what I'll do is I'll put all of those links in the bottom of this recording and share that as well, and I'll put it in the descriptions. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. This is the time for people to be inspired and motivated by listening to other people's stories, listening to none of us have had an easy lifetime. It's all about learning and experiences and how we deal with those, taking the silver lining out of everything that happens to us and just being inspired and realize that we can support and guide you. Hang on, I'm just going to cough. Excuse me. As you go through life, because, it's time now to come together, connect with other people, connect with like-minded community, to collaborate with other people, and to talk about these genuine and authentic issues and topics that people are experiencing. And don't keep it taboo. It used to be back in the old day, you didn't talk about certain things, but talking about your feelings is very, very important because we're emotional beings. So what one person is experiencing or has experienced, most likely other people are going through the same thing or have felt it too. So let's connect together and amplify and ignite these communities, and so that we can create some positive change in people's lives. I think that's what you and I are both about, and that's how we met. So the power of conversation is so empowering these days, and it's an easy way to get across. There's so much noise around us, emails going crazy, media with all the negative stuff. But when you can listen to empowering podcasts that's talking about stuff that's relevant and real, I think it can only motivate, inspire, and empower people through their lives. So, Irina, thank you so much for coming on. Any last words you'd like to leave us with?
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And do something that sets your soul on fire. Don't wait another year. Don't wait another minute. Don't say that you're old enough, young enough, rich or poor. You can decide and do the thing that you like to do, practice it, set aside time and do it, try it out, see how it works.
Absolutely, just do it. Believe in yourself and set your soul on fire. Those are very wise words to leave us with, because if not now, when? What are we putting off? Let's create a happy life now, not tomorrow. So with that, Irina, thank you so much for joining us on the Magic Mic Moments. Thank you everyone for joining in. Please like, subscribe, and comment around these, and don't forget to join up with Irina's podcast as well and follow her, and reach out and buy her latest book. Looking forward to that, seeing that on the shelves. So thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to chatting to you again very shortly in the future.
Thank you.
See ya.